This morning I want to sort of speak collectively an answer to a question. And this is the joy of these moments as we gather together, is that I go like, actually, I don't think the questions that I hear as I meet with some are questions that everybody else isn't asking. Does that make sense? Like everybody is likely asking a very similar question. And so this morning I want to speak to you about what you need to do. The answer, just to give you the sort of end, is nothing. But I'll tell you for why. As I meet with some of you and people from across our church, people come and say, right, do you know what? I've become a Christian. I've found Jesus, maybe in the last few weeks or maybe years or decades ago. But John, tell me, what is it I have to now do? Like, what do I have to do to remain a Christian? What do I have to do this life? And today I want you to know that there is actually nothing required of you. Because the kingdom of heaven, which is what we've been hearing about over these last couple of months, is something that Jesus gives you an invite to and not an invoice for. Jesus gives you an invite and not an invoice. He says, come on in, not then, and here's what you have to pay. And I'm going to read you a bit from Matthew's gospel, where I think the disciples who've been following Jesus around came to understand that same thing. I want to reassure you today that however you're feeling about your kind of expectations of being a Christian, that the disciples who stood with Jesus thought the same thing. And to go away knowing that you are invited in. This is Matthew 19, verses 23 to 30. Then Jesus said to his disciples, truly I tell you, it is hard for someone who is rich to enter the kingdom of heaven. Again, I tell you, it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for someone who is rich to enter the kingdom of God. When the disciples heard this, they were greatly astonished, and they said, who then can be saved? Jesus looked at them and said, with man this is impossible, but with God all things are possible. Peter answered him, well, we've left everything to follow you. What then will there be for us? Jesus said to them, truly I tell you, at the renewal of all things, when the Son of Man sits on his glorious throne, you who have followed me will also sit on 12 thrones, judging the tribes of Israel, and everyone who has left houses or brothers or sisters or father or mother or wife or children or fields for my sake will receive 100 times as much and inherit eternal life. But many who are first will be last, and many who are last will be first. This passage in Matthew's gospel comes immediately after a rich young ruler has come to Jesus and said to him, Jesus, this kingdom that you're talking about, which sounds amazing, by the way, like being part of this kingdom with its new value system, with life and life to the full, with healing and freedom and peace, like this kingdom, says this rich young ruler, how much is it going to cost me to buy a place in it? Jesus is like, no, it's free, actually. You are invited. And the rich young ruler goes, yeah, no, I get it. But you see, what I want to do is I want to keep my kingdom, my control, my power, my money, my influence. And what I normally do, Jesus, just so you know, just so you're clear, Jesus, what I do is I get the things I want by buying them. That's how my kingdom works, Jesus. So what I want is in on your kingdom, but can I also keep mine and keep my power and my control and the money to be able to get what I want? And Jesus says, well, actually what you're going to need to do is sell everything and give it all to the poor, and then you can come into the kingdom. And this guy goes, well, yeah, but that means I've got to leave my own control and go into your kingdom entirely. And Jesus is like, yeah, you're welcome to come entirely into my kingdom. You'll love it here. And the rich young ruler goes, yeah, you're all right, thanks, Jesus. I'm off. And then we turn to the disciples. And Jesus is saying to them, look, here's what's going on. Is people who approach the kingdom thinking that they can earn their way in, whether it's through money or good deeds. Anybody who thinks that they can make themselves worthy enough to get into the kingdom won't. Because actually, by man, by you and I, whatever we do, it's impossible. And they're like, impossible? Surely it's just really hard, Jesus. But it's not just impossible. I mean, some people must be able to get in. And Jesus goes, let me tell you. Imagine this. You've got a camel. Imagine how big a camel is. And probably when he was telling them, there would have been a camel not far away. Look at that camel. Now, I've got this needle with a little tiny eye in it. Could that camel get through the eye of that needle? No, it couldn't. That is how hard it is. Not just hard, not just really, really tricky, not just if that camel lost a lot of weight, it could get through. Impossible. It is impossible to earn your way into the kingdom of heaven. If you've been in church for a while, you'll have heard the talk, there's a gate in Jerusalem called the Eye of the Needle, which was really hard to get through if you carried baggage with you. So you have to lay everything down and then the camel could fit through. It's not true. There wasn't. Because it's not actually what Jesus is saying. Jesus is not saying, it's really hard to earn your way into the kingdom. Here's all the things you've got to do. If you could lay this down and do that, then you'll be able to get in. He's saying it is impossible. It's impossible. So who then will be saved, says the disciples. They were greatly astonished. Who then can be saved? Jesus said, well, with man this is impossible. With God all things are possible. Your entry into this kingdom of life, this kingdom of freedom, this kingdom of peace, this kingdom of joy, this kingdom of home and belonging that comes in the kingdom of heaven comes about not by your efforts. It comes about by an invite. And all that's asked of you is your RSVP. You are invited in. Right, so the disciples, okay, we've got it. So that man who's rich and powerful and thinks he can get anything he wants, he can't buy his way into the kingdom. But we have given up loads of stuff. We have given up everything to follow you. What then will be for us? Of course, we've bought something, haven't we? Come on, Jesus. Like what we've given up, that's got us something better. We're better Christians than that man, aren't we? Because look what we've done. And Jesus says, I think you haven't got it either, have you? Oh, you haven't. You've just seen that and you've not got it. He says, yeah, you've left stuff. Yeah, you've gone for it. Yeah, you've digged in and you've given up stuff and followed me. And for that is good news. Like, thank you. Thank you for what you've done. It does make a difference. It is significant. It does have an impact. But your reward is not going to be greater than anybody else's. Everybody gets the same. Huh? Yeah, everybody gets the same. So what we've given up hasn't bought us a better... No. Everybody's the same. And they're like, I don't really understand. And Jesus says, well, if you can buy a better position, if God can say you're a better Christian because you've done these things, then that means that other people are less than, doesn't it? And that's not the kingdom of heaven. No, nobody is less than in the kingdom of heaven. As I read the Gospels, I think that's the number one message that Jesus brings across, is nobody is less than, and we are to make nobody less than. You are invited in to the kingdom. And even the disciples think that somehow the invite is followed by an invoice. Yeah, Jesus, you've invited us, but then we're going to do these things, and that's what we have to do in order to earn being a Christian. Otherwise, you're going to kick us out, aren't you? No, says Jesus. You're not here because of what you've done. You're here because of what I've done. Because I've given you an invite. If Jesus was walking around now, I don't know, his parable might be of the App Store on the iPhone. Do you ever get that? Do you ever download those apps? You're like, it's free. Gosh, this is going to organize my entire life, this app, and it's free. Download. The second you download it, it asks you for $6.99 a month. We've got this idea that somehow there's no such thing as a free lunch. Like the second that we go, yeah, go on then, I'm going to become a Christian, that then there's a list of things that we've got to do, a list of things that we've got to be. And if we're not, well, don't you dare come back to church again because you've failed. No. You do not earn it. It's a grace gift, freely given. Like God did not go to all the effort that he went to of running after you and me in order that once we've said yes, he turns us into little puppet performers for him. That'd be crazy, wouldn't it? He saves you for freedom. It was for freedom that Christ set us free. He's not saved you so that you then have a huge list of obligations. I think I see it like this, that the kingdom of heaven is like good soil. It's like you're invited to come in and put down roots. And then, yes, you will grow, you will transform, new elements of your life will come out, maybe ministries and opportunities will break out, maybe they will, maybe they won't. It doesn't make you better or worse. Do you know, I used to do a different job. I used to work in broadcasting and media and things like that through my life, and I left that to come and lead a church. And the funny thing about that is that people then go, oh, you, John, are holier than other people. Like it's something that you're at the top of the Christian tree because you lead a church and you've given up your job to. It's nonsense. You only need to ask my family. It's not true. Like if this doesn't tell you that, I don't know what else will. The second we think that becomes true, that like working for a church or doing something like that makes us better, we're in this same place as the disciples where we're astonished, asking who then can be saved. We're going like Jesus, but we've done this. Does that not give us extra access somehow? Does that not make us? No. It's only by grace that you are saved. I read time and time again through Jesus' earthly ministry that he meets people and invites them into the kingdom. Either by saying, come, follow me, or by going to them and having dinner and revealing himself in a way that they understand that he's God. Or by healing to point to the Father. He reveals the kingdom. He says, look, it's here. And then they say, what now, Jesus? And he says, go home. Crack on. Do your life. Live your life now rooted in the soil of having been invited into the family. But if I go back to that, Jesus, won't I be kicked out of the kingdom because I'm not now becoming some kind of clergy person or theologian or evangelist or something? And Jesus is like, no. I've saved you for freedom. I've called you to be who you are. But you're rooted in a new family now. The Bible uses the language of adoption over and over and over again. I think because it's such a powerful image of choice. To adopt somebody into a family is to specifically choose and to make a commitment that is not going to be broken. Now, I know for some, our human experience can be different in reality. But I think the point that Jesus is making is the invite is into that. The invite is not into a thing that you're then going to get a bill. It's not like, somebody's invited you for lunch and you're unsure who's paying for this at the end of it. There's a certainty that comes with it. That means you are then told by Jesus, well, now go home. Go live your life. Go do your thing. But remain in me and I will remain in you. I think this is, in many ways, one of the most important messages of the kingdom. It's not a performance. It's not something you have to earn. There's not someone you have to be in order for God to say, come on in. So if you've sat for some time at the fringes thinking like, I'd love to be a Christian. It looks great. Like being rooted in something, having that foundation, knowing who I am in this space. But I'm not enough. I'm not good enough. I haven't learned enough. I could never be behaved in the right way. I'm not dressed right for it. I don't know what it is that you've put to exclude yourself. But Jesus isn't asking for that. He's just asking for your yes. And if you, like I have, many, many, many times through my life, have stood there and thought to myself, surely I'm not enough as a Christian because I don't do whatever it is that I think I should do. I don't run enough small groups, or, I don't know, serve on enough food banks, or whatever it is that you put up as being the metric for belonging in the kingdom. Then just know that you're in the kingdom because of an invite and you will not receive an invoice. Yes, we're called to turn, to repent, to turn away from our own life of control and into God's kingdom. That's what that rich young ruler couldn't do. But it's a simple response. It's a simple yes to Jesus' invite. And then you don't have to sit panicking that you're going to get a bill. You don't have to sit panicking that you're going to be kicked out. That is not how it works. You can be rooted and grow and flourish and develop and change and transform into something that you were made to be. But just know that earthly privilege, earthly action is no indicator of what you have as a gift eternally. So you're invited. You are invited. That's it. That's it. You're invited. There's so many more parables that we've touched on. Some of them we've heard, we've read. There's more to come where people are invited Invited to wedding feasts, invited to banquets, invited to all sorts. And what disqualifies them is not what they did, it's what they didn't do. They didn't say yes. Simple. You notice when that happens elsewhere in Matthew's gospel, you get these, do you want to come? And they don't say yes, they don't get ready, they don't go, they don't respond. Then everybody else gets invited. It's like not exclusive. It's like, okay, well, the invite goes to everybody else then. Simple yes. There's loads more I could say, as ever. But that'll probably do, won't it? The kingdom of heaven, what Jesus has for you, is an invite and not an invoice. It's grace freely given.